Hello, everybody. It's Joe from PrepAgent. If you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Tell me where you're from, and we're ready to begin. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are you excited? Are you excited? Are you excited? Should be excited. It's contracts today. Who wouldn't be excited for that? Joseph's in the house. Liz Larraquete's in the house. Great emoji, Liz. Haven't seen that one yet. Hi, Rosanna. Are you guys hearing me in your head as you sleep yet? How many of you guys are listening to enough webinars where you go to sleep with me in your head and you think, oh my man, get out of my head, kind of like Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars. If you guys like that feeling me in your head, follow through with it. I'll get you through the exam and I'll lead you to your successful career in real estate and you'll be rocking in no time. Hi, Maggie. Yes, I love the LOLs. All right, have some energy going without the Starbucks. It's a big breakthrough with me. Got big news tomorrow. Who wants some big news? Anybody ready for big news? Say, Joe, I'm ready for some big news. Okay, if you want some big news, right, give me big news, Joe. Give me big news. If you're ready for some big news, Shazia says, me. Tomorrow is math. Alzira knew I was going to say that. Tomorrow evening, Adrian's doing math. For some of you, it's a naughty 4-letter word. But for the rest of us, I know you guys like it. So tomorrow's math. He's doing it a different way than I am. Maybe it'll work for you. Maybe it won't. I did math last week. He's doing math tomorrow. So that's how we're going to roll. So tomorrow's math. But today we're contracts. Today we are doing contracts. So before we do any questions like you see on the words on the board, okay, who could tell me the 4 essential elements of a valid contract? Go. Whoever gets it first gets a big fist bump. If you're in Cali, you don't really need to tune into it. Like I said before, we're probably doing the math only twice a month because it doesn't apply to everybody. So all you Californians, you don't have to stay tuned tomorrow. You can watch one of my awesome reruns. Okay, so 4 essential and valid contract. Shazia writes stud. Thanks, Shazia. For an me or the acronym, not sure. Okay, so stud stands for scarcity, transferability, utility, and demand. Everybody should be writing that down. Scarcity, transferability, utility, and demand. Those are... Oh, man. No, that's the 4 essential elements of value. Shazi, you threw me off with the whole stud comment. Man, 4 essential elements of contract. Stop writing stud, everybody. That's the essential elements of value. Contract is mutual consent, competent parties, lawful object, and consideration. My bad. Man, is that my ego getting in the way or what? I think it might be. What do you guys think? I got to check myself. Beverly says you've got me freaking out. So the 4 essentials are mutual consent, lawful object, consideration, and capable parties. I did ask about contracts. My bad, guys. Mutual consent, capable parties, consideration, lawful object. What is mutual consent? That means agreement, meeting of the minds. It also means meeting of the minds. What is the 3-step process for mutual consent? Who knows? Who knows the 3-step process for mutual consent? There's 3 steps you got to have. Who knows what it is? And people get this wrong a lot. It's one of those things they think it's really easy, but it messes people up all the time. What do you guys think? Mutual consent. Offer acceptance and communicate back that acceptance. Offer acceptance and communicate back that acceptance. People always forget that third part. Promise me you will not forget that third part. Everybody write, I promise not to forget. I promise not to forget. Why is that important? Because if I make you an offer and you accept the offer and you don't tell me, what am I going to do? I'm going to make an offer on another house, right, guys? I'll make an offer on another house. Ooh, we got 150 people in the webinar. I'm thinking we're going to have 200 before this thing is done. You offer, accept, and you got to tell me you accepted it. You got to tell me that. Okay, so you got that mutual consent element, also known as meeting of the minds. Okay? We have capable parties, which means you're mentally sound and if you're of age. We have lawful object. You can't have a contract for something illegal. So all those James Bond fans, a contract to kill is really no contract at all. Can't do that. You can't kill somebody and then tell the judge, we had a contract, it was signed, it was notarized, why didn't you pay me? What's going on there? The judge will say, actually, it's no contract at all because it's not lawful to commit murder. Can't do that. So a contract, or is it a license to kill? My bad. James Bond was a license to kill. But you guys get the idea anyway. And last but not least, we have consideration. What is consideration? What is consideration? What do you guys think? What is consideration? What do you guys think? Consideration is anything of value. Consideration is anything of value. Can I give you a hug? Is that consideration? What do you guys think? Or does it have to be money? Can it be as simple as a hug? So it could be a hug, it could be anything, right, guys? Anything of value. Good. Consideration could be anything of value. That is the fundamentals of the 4 essential of valid contract. Do not forget that. If you guys forget that, I'll cry. That's one of those we got to get right in our exam. Let's look at a question on the board now. All right. Jones goes into a restaurant and orders lunch. At the end of the meal, is he legally obligated to pay the check? A, yes, because Jones is liable through the process of novation. B, yes, because by ordering, Jones entered into an implied contract to pay for the meal. C, yes, but only if Jones is a legal adult. Or D, no, because strictly speaking, Jones did not promise to pay. And the answer is B. And what we're talking about implied contracts. What is an implied contract? Who knows? The way I like to define an implied contract. Well, let me see somebody in the chat write to me about an implied contract before I give my definition. What do you guys think? Implied contract is also relatable to ostensible authority. Implied by action. Nice job, Deborah Gardner. First on the chat there with the answer. Big props to Deborah Gardner. Deborah, where are you out of? New Jersey? I get a New Jersey vibe. Okay, basically, looks like a duck, walks like a duck, acts like a duck. It must be a contract. All right, that's what an implied contract is. Your actions indicate the agreement, and by following through with those actions, okay, you have created a contract. The common example people like to use is when you sit down at a restaurant and they say that hamburger is $10. You can't be like, nope, I didn't sign anything for $10 for a hamburger. I'll give you $5. You can't do that because by sitting there and ordering the hamburger, it's implied you're going to pay the $10. Now, implied contracts are not the best idea in real estate, but if things get legally nasty and it goes to a judge, it could be a method of proving a relationship was had and therefore money's owed. Is that the way you want to go about things? Of course not. This really only comes up when you get into legal things. If you watch Judge Judy, you might know what I'm talking about. Is she still around? I don't even know if Judge Judy's around anymore. It's funny because in Judge Judy, I think they do talk about leases and other things like that. There's no more Judge Judy? Kristen says no. Oh, there is. There is Judge Judy. Okay, well, we have to watch that. Okay, a contract based on illegal consideration is A, enforceable, B, voidable, C, void, or D, valid. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? A contract based on a legal consideration is A, enforceable, B, voidable, C, void, or D, valid? And the answer is void. It is no contract at all because it violates one of our 4 essentials. Everybody write the 4 essentials really quick. Everybody go. 4 essentials. Who can write it the fastest? You should be able to write it super quick because you promised me you'd memorize it. You promised. Okay, so we write it super quick. The 4 essentials. Mutual consent, consideration, lawful object, and capable parties. Okay, and this one violates that lawful object part. Okay, I feel like we got good energy today. The audio's good, the connection's good. I feel like you guys are interacting well. I feel like I'm feeding off your energy. You guys feel like good energy? Write good energy if you think we have good energy. I feel like there's good energy. I know we're not together, but my feng shui and chi feels it through the screen. I don't even know what those things are, really. I just sounds fancy. My sister's into that stuff. My friend Liz is into that stuff. Good chi. Okay, here we go. Broker Dave has an exclusive agency listing to sell a $200,000 home for owner Jones. Before the listing expires, the home was sold through Jones' own efforts to a friend. And Dave was refused payment of any commission Dave is legally entitled to receive from Jones. A, all expenses that incurred when advertising the property. B, 1/2 a commission. C, no commission. Or D, a full commission. Thanks, Jeremy. Jeremy says, great energy, Joe. It's hard to have a good energy when you're talking to a computer screen, so I appreciate your guys' positivity. Okay, so what's the answer here? So the answer here, a lot of you guys are circling C, and you would be correct. And we're talking about listings. So before we do anything, so listings comes up when we talk about agency and contracts. That's one of those that could go in either section quite easily. And there's reasons for that. But before we get into those reasons, I'd like you guys to tell me what is a listing. So what is a listing? So we tend to talk about it whenever we talk about either agency or contracts. What do you guys think? So what is a listing? Just straight up, give me the definition of a listing. In the most simplest form. It's an employment contract. Nice job, Lynn Kirkman. Okay, it's an employment contract. A listing is an employment contract. Okay? It is an employment contract. The seller's employing you or your broker, depending on what license you have. Okay? It's an employment contract. What are they employing you to do? What are you being employed to do? What do you guys think? What are you being employed to do? You are being employed to find a buyer, not sell a house. Everybody promise you won't make that mistake. You're not being employed to sell the house. Why are you not being employed to sell the house? Why can't you as the broker sell the house? You got a real estate license. Why can't you sell the house for them? Very simply said, because it's not your house. All you could do is bring a buyer to the table. And if the seller forms an agreement with that buyer that you brought to the table, you will be entitled to a commission. Now, an exclusive right to sell listing, it doesn't matter how that buyer got to the table. You get paid no matter what. You don't need to be the cause of it being there. What is that word that we learn when we study for the real estate exam when you are the cause of something? What is that word? There's a word that we use. What is that word that we use when you are the cause of something happening? What do you guys think? Procuring cause. Lynn is rocking it tonight. You guys got to cheat off Lynn's exam when you take the test. But Luis Amaya was right behind her. Okay. So procuring cause. So everybody remember this. If you're new to this, I want you to write this down. An exclusive right to sell listing. You do not need to prove that you are the procuring cause of the buyer. Okay? All right. An exclusive right to sell listing. You do not need to prove that you're the procuring cause of the buyer. Okay? It doesn't matter who brought the buyer. Lynn says safety clause. All right, Lynn, now you're just showing off. Just kidding. You do you. Okay, so you got the exclusive right to sell listing. You don't need to prove it. Why do you have to prove it with an exclusive agency listing? Why do you have to prove it with an exclusive agency listing? Why do you have to prove that you're the procuring cause of the buyer with an exclusive agency listing? What do you guys think? And that's the one that we're referring to on the board here. Because if the owner brought that buyer to the table, if that buyer is there by the owner's efforts, you get nada, zilch, zippo. Now, there's another type of listing as well. Now, the exclusive right to sell listing, exclusive agency listing, both go under the categories of exclusive listings. Why are those two called exclusive? Why are those two called exclusive listings? What do you guys think? Why are those called exclusive listings? Why are those called exclusive listings? Because there's one broker. There's one broker. Okay? So what is the type of listing where you could have many brokers and it's just like whoever brings it gets the money? What type of listing would that be? What type of listing would that be? That would be an open listing, also known as a non-exclusive listing. An open listing, also known as a non-exclusive listing. Great job, everybody. Do you have any first timer here? Everybody write down how many webinars you've been to. This is your first one, your second one, your third one, your 35th one, maybe a 100th one. How many webinars have you guys been to? So Brian says, how about a net listing? That's a great question, Brian. The reason I didn't mention that is because, Brian, the net listing is a method of getting paid. It doesn't have to do with a relationship with the broker. So any of those could be a net listing. You could have an exclusive agency listing that's a net listing because the net listing just decides the form of compensation. All right, I hope that makes sense. And many states do not allow net listings because there's a conflict of interest because you get paid above and beyond a designated price. So you say $500,000, you bring in $550,000, you get $50,000. If you guys bring in $500,000, then you get nothing. So there's a designated kind of an inherent conflict of interest there because if your buyer says $500,000, you don't want to bring it to the seller, even though it's in the seller's best interest. But if you bring it, you just did all that work for nothing. So that net listing is really a form of getting paid. I hope that makes sense. And that's why I don't talk about it because it doesn't really signify if it's many brokers, one broker, or two brokers, or things of that nature. Okay. Hopefully that helped. Which of the following is not essential to a contract? A, consideration, B, offer, C, performance, or D, acceptance? What do you guys think? So which of the following is not essential to a contract? A, consideration, B, offer, C, performance, or D, acceptance? What do you guys think? And the answer is C, performance. A contract's an offer to perform. It is not performance itself. How many of you guys are so bored at home right now, you actually look forward to these webinars? Like you get all excited. You're like, 15 minutes till webinar. I'm so pumped. How many of you guys are so bored these days that these webinars have become like the highlight of the day? I know that happened to me. I'm so pumped to do these right now. You guys could tell. I was like staring at the computer, be like, come on, people. Like in my head, in my like super egomaniac head, you guys are chanting my name like Joe, 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 Joe. And then when I log on, it's like, you guys are all screaming like Justin Bieber going into a room of teenage girls. At least that's how it plays out in my head. Okay, here we go. Under a lease, a commercial property, a tenant agrees to pay $4,000 per month plus 3% of the gross monthly sales. This type of lease is called a percentage lease, triple net lease, ground lease, or net lease. And the answer is percentage lease. Okay, so leases are obviously types of contracts, right, guys? When we talk about leasing, when we do property ownership, we talk about less than freehold estates. And when we talk about that, we get into depth about the estate for years, periodic tenancy, estate at will, and estate at sufferance, right? But when we talk about leases as pertains to contracts, then we're talking about 4 different types of leases. Those are the ones I like to talk about. What are those types of leases that I like to talk about? What do you guys think? What are the 4 types of leases that I like to talk about as it pertains to contracts? So percentage lease, that's 1. Net lease, 2. Gross lease, 3. And sandwich lease would be 4. Okay? So you got those 4 types of leases. Which one is the most common for your average residential person who's just renting a place to sleep, live, eat a sandwich, have pizza, watch Curb Your Enthusiasm? Which type of lease is that? That'd be a gross lease. Define for me a gross lease. I would like you guys to define for me a gross lease. Define for me a gross lease. A gross lease is when you have a set fee. So you pay $1,000 a month and you're out, or whatever it is you agree to pay. Cheryl asked about a sandwich lease. Cheryl, a sandwich lease you may know more commonly as subletting. So don't worry, if you haven't heard that word before, don't worry about it. All it means is subletting. Just think, somebody's in the middle. The lessor is also the lessee. All right, the lessor is also the lessee. Okay, so you got your percentage lease, you got your sandwich lease, you got your gross lease. So the percentage lease is when you pay based upon the amount of money that's coming in. Okay, and last but not least, what is a net lease? What do you guys think is a net lease? What's a net lease? A net lease is when you pay for taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Good job, everybody. All right. Let's move right along. Is a lease personal property or real property? Let's see who's paying attention. Is a lease personal property or real property? Is a lease personal property or real property? What do you guys think? A lease is personal property. What's another word for personal property that we learn when we study for our real estate exam? What's another word for personal property that we learn when we're studying for our real estate exam? What do you guys think? Chattel, chattel real. How do we remember that? Everybody with me. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Chattel, cattle, cows, move, move. So they're like cattle, cows, cows, move. Personal property. I know it sounds ridiculous. I say it all the time. You're going to think I sound stupid, but when you're taking the exam and you're looking at this question, like, I don't know what, a B, good, answer, Joe rocks, awesome. Okay, you'll love it when you're taking your exam and you're freaking out and you remember that moo and you get it all correct. Chattel, cattle, cows, move, they're movable. Okay, moving right along. Excuse me. Oh, relax, we're through a computer screen. So you guys are like, hey, watch that cough in there, mister. Maybe wearing your mask. Okay, under a sales contract, the legal remedy that may be used to force the seller to consummate the sale is called A, foreclosure, B, unlawful detainer, C, writ of execution, or D, specific performance. And the answer is specific performance. Can a broker sue for specific performance? That is my question for you guys. Can a broker sue for specific performance? I want you to mull that in your head a little bit. Can a broker sue for specific performance? Omar says no. I see a lot of no's. I see one yes. Sarah Shanaz says yes. Everybody else says no. Sarah, you're on your own on this one. But I love the confidence that you answered. Okay, so the answer is no. Oh, Jessica says yes as well. The answer is no. No. Why can't a broker sue for specific performance? Brokers would sue for money. Nice job, Adriana. Damages. They would sue for money. Brokers could sue. They just wouldn't sue for specific performance. They would sue for money. Everybody got that? Okay. So basically, you sue for specific performance when you're going after an item that cannot be replaced with money. For example, if you have a corner lot and I need to be on that corner lot in that particular spot, you give me money. I can't buy another house on the corner lot. I can only get that one. So therefore, I would sue you to go through the sale of the house. Obviously, that's an extreme situation, but that helps understand the concept. All right. What movie will I watch tonight? I cannot decide. Jessica says, what does consummate mean? The immediate example is when people get married on their first night. They're woohoo. All right, but really it means just to kind of finalize it. I don't know. Somebody give me a good definition of consummate. Because the examples come in my head is blah, blah. People have children watching. Okay, what is an executed contract? A contract terminated by either party. B, Ernesto said seal the deal. Good one. Okay, a contract terminated by either party. B, a contract that is dead in the water. C, a contract that has been terminated by both the listing agent and the homeowner. Or D, a contract in which all the parties have fulfilled their promise and performed the contract. And the answer is D, a contract which all the parties fulfill their promise and perform the contract. What decides which contracts must be in writing? What statute is that? What statute dictates what contracts must be in writing? Statute of frauds. Nice job, guys. Statute of frauds. Okay. If a contract must be in writing, but it is not, what is the status of that contract? So, according to a statute of frauds, this contract in my hand must be in writing. What if it's not in writing and it should be? What is the status of that contract? And the answer is unenforceable. I would have accepted non-enforceable. It's not void. Why is it not void? Because you remember, guys, we wrote down those essentials of a valid contract, right? And writing was not one of the essentials. So therefore, it's not void. It's still a contract. It is still a contract. It's just an unenforceable contract. Does everybody get that? And the difference is things that are void and not void apply to every single contract. What makes one contract unenforceable may not make another contract unenforceable. We talk about the statute of limitations and the statute of frauds. Not all contracts need to be in writing, and not all contracts follow the same time limits. So therefore, unenforceable alludes to different criteria for different contracts. Whereas what makes a contract void or valid applies to all contracts, as it is one of the essentials of a valid contract. Does that help you guys? I hope that clarifies it. I know a lot of you guys get confused with that. So hopefully that little explanation helped clarify the difference between unenforceable and void. Okay, moving right along. By signing exclusive right to sell listing, the seller is creating a contract between himself and the MLS, broker, buyer, or sales agent. I feel like we got a lot more diverse group of emojis today. You guys get the thumbs up and the smiley face. I feel like you guys are really extending your emoji usage today. I don't know how to relate or what to do with that information, but it's exciting. I'll take it. And the answer is broker. They're the responsible party. Like I said, no matter what state you're in, there's always one party working under another is responsible. Okay? Some of you guys have broker agents. Some of you guys have managing broker. Some of you guys, have designated broker. You have different titles, but the relationship is always the same. There's always one person in charge of all the other licensees under them. Call it what you want. But that's how it works, and that's why you can't work under multiple people, because only one can be legally responsible for you. They have to know who to go after if you mess up. They're not going to go after like multiple people. They're going to go after one. An agent must submit all new offers to the owner until A, the broker decides there have been enough offers, B, the agent decides the seller isn't interested, C, the close of escrow, or D, escrow opens on a potential sale. Okay, moving right along, the answer is C, close of escrow. Good. Escrow is a neutral third party, if you guys didn't know that. Under which of the following listings must an owner pay a commission even if he sells entirely through his own efforts? A, exclusive agency listing, B, non-exclusive listing, C, restrictive listing, or D, exclusive right to sell listing. We went over this earlier, so we should all get this one right. And the answer is D. All right, moving right along. Avoidable contract is a contract that A, has no legal effect because it is really not a contract. B, is valid and enforceable on its face, but it may be rejected by one of the parties. C, was valid at the time it was signed, but for some reason cannot be proved or sued upon by either or both parties. Or D, contains all the essentials that are required for its existence. And the answer is B. Good. Maybe rejected by one of the parties. All right, guys. Thank you so much for attending. I really enjoyed it. Tomorrow we have Adrian on the mic. I'll be back Friday. As today is Blur Day. I don't even know what date it is anymore. As far as I'm concerned, it's Blur Day and in the month of somewhere between February and May. That's where we're at with this. All right. Thanks, everybody. See, happy Earth Day. That's right, Veronica. Happy Earth Day. Okay, have a great day, guys. Bye.